Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi kareem. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Fa'udhu billahi min ash-shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. قل يا أهل الكتاب تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم الله نعبد إلا الله ولا نشرك به شيئا ولا يتخذ بعضنا بعضا أربابا من دون الله فإن تولوا فقولوا نشهد بأننا مسلمون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. I welcome all brothers and sisters with the Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Meaning, may peace, blessings and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. The topic of my today's talk is concept of God in Hinduism. Hinduism is commonly perceived as a polytheistic religion. The major difference between the Hindu and the Muslim perception of God is the common Hindus belief in the philosophy of pantheism. Pantheism considers everything living and non-living to be divine and sacred. The common Hindu therefore considers everything as God. He considers the trees as God, the sun as God, the moon as God, the monkey as God, the snake as God, and even human beings as manifestations of God. Islam, on the contrary, exhorts man to consider himself and his surroundings as examples of divine creation rather than as divinity itself. Muslims therefore believe that everything is God's, the word God with an apostrophe S. In other words, the Muslims believe that everything belongs to God. The trees belong to God, the sun belongs to God, the moon belongs to God, the monkey belongs to God, the snake belongs to God, the human beings belongs to God, and everything in this universe belongs to God. Thus, the major difference between the Hindu and a Muslim belief is the difference of the apostrophes. The Hindu says everything is God and the Muslim says everything is God's. The most popular amongst all the Hindu scriptures is the Bhagavad Gita. It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 20, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. The Gita states that people who are materialistic worship demigods, gods besides the true God. The Upanishads are considered sacred scriptures by the Hindus. If you read Chandogya Upanishad, book number 6, section number 2, verse number 1, it says, Ekkammi Vidityam. He is one only without a second. If you read Swaitra Upanishad, chapter 6, verse 9, Nakasya Kasij Janitana Kadipa. Of him there are neither parents nor Lord. If you read Swaitra Upanishad, chapter 4, verse 19, it's mentioned, Na tasya pratima asti. There is no likeness of him. The following verses from the Upanishad allude to the inability of man to imagine God in a particular form. If you read Swaitra Upanishad, chapter 4, verse 20, it's mentioned, his form is not to be seen, no one can see him with the eyes. The Vedas are considered the most sacred of all the Hindu scriptures. There are 4 principal Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda and Atharma Veda. If you read Yajur Veda, chapter 32, verse 3, it's mentioned, Na tasya pratima asti. There is no image of him. If you read Yajur Veda, chapter 40, verse 8, it's mentioned, he is bodiless and pure. It's mentioned in Yajur Veda, chapter 40, verse 9, they enter darkness, those who worship the natural elements, air, water, fire, etc. They sink deeper in darkness, those who worship Sambhuti. Sambhuti means created things. If you read Atharma Veda, it's mentioned in Atharma Veda, book number 20, hymn number 58, verse number 3, God is verily great. The oldest of all the Vedas is Rig Veda. It is also the one considered most sacred by the Hindus. The Rig Veda states in book number 1, hymn number 164 and verse number 46, call one God by many names. If you read Yajurved, chapter 32, verse 3, Na tasya pratima asti, there is no image of him. And if you read the Brahma Sutra of Hinduism, the Brahma Sutra of Hinduism is Ekam Braham Dityanaste Nehanaste Kinchan. There is only one God, not the second, not at all, not at all, not at the least bit. So the concept of God is clearly mentioned in Hindu religious scriptures. I invite all Hindu brothers and sisters, my non-Muslim brothers and sisters, to read their scriptures and come to the common terms between us and you. And that is that we worship only one God, Allah, and don't associate partners with Him. With this, I conclude my talk. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.